Bonjour, with FrenchSpanishOnline.com. We are going to see how to use the correct preposition in French when it's question countries, island or city, en versus a with FrenchSpanishOnline.com. So let's start to analyze the rule. The rule in English is, well, easy. It depends whether there is movement or not. And we use to or in as a preposition. In French, it depends on the gender of the country or the island or the city. Yes, in French, countries have got a gender. And in this case, we use the preposition en or a, depending on the gender. So let's start now with countries to see what is a feminine country in French. It is a country that ends with a E. For example, France, we have a final E, and this is a feminine country. When you want to use it in a sentence, we always need the definite article. France is a great country, you will say La France est un grand pays. Of course, the same thing for Angleterre with an E for England, and here we say l'Angleterre, L'. Espagne, l'Espagne, the same thing. The rule is easy. For these countries, feminine country, the preposition is en. So, if you want to say here that you want to go or you are in France, the same preposition, je vais en France, je suis en France. Listen to the liaison between the words. Je vais en France, je suis en France. Je vais en Espagne, je suis en Espagne. Okay? Let's see now, what is masculine country? Well, a country that does not end with an E. So it can be Portugal, for example, and here again we need the definite article. Le Portugal est un grand pays. It can also be États-Unis, which is plural, and we will say, for this case, les États-Unis, the plural definite article, les États-Unis, or le Canada. The rule is for the masculine countries to use the preposition au, which is the contraction between two words a and le in French. Let's see an example with le Portugal. So the same thing, if you want to say I go to Portugal or I am in Portugal, so the same preposition in French, je vais au Portugal, je suis au Portugal. For the Canada, je vais au Canada, je suis au Canada. For the States, because it's a plural, we add an X, and the X for the liaison here between the two words is like a Z, so we say aux États-Unis. But because there is a lot of Z to pronounce in the expression je vais aux États-Unis, that usually we don't pronounce all, so we just say je vais aux États-Unis. There is an exception in this category. This is for the masculine country starting with a vowel, like Iran or Iraq. In this case, we use the preposition en, and we say je vais en Iran, or je vais en Iran, je vais en Iraq. Okay? This is the exception for the masculine countries. Let's see now islands. There's the same rule, feminine, an island that ends with an E, so the same rule as before. For example, Guadeloupe, which is a Caribbean island, a French Caribbean island, we say la Guadeloupe. It can also be la Martinique or Nouvelle-Zélande. Well, New Zealand here, it's a bit special because it's an island, but it's also a country. So that's why, unfortunately, the rule is the same here, because with this feminine island, we also use the preposition en. For example, about Guadeloupe, you say je vais en Guadeloupe, je suis en Guadeloupe. But there is an exception to here when you have a compound name for your island. For example, here you have this small island, Marie-Galante, and we use here, because of the compound name, the preposition à. Je vais à Marie-Galante ou je suis à Marie-Galante. Masculine islands, so now you understand the rule. An island that does not end with an E, for example, Hawaii in French, Hawaii, there is an E. Or Saint-Martin, it's another possibility with the final N in this case. The rule is to use the preposition a, just a, because with this island we don't need the definite article. So we just use a, And you can say, for example, here for Hawaii, je vais à Hawaii, or je vais à Hawaii, je suis à Hawaii. Okay? And about cities and towns now. Well, always the preposition à. Paris, we have an S, but we don't care. We say à Paris. And the same thing for Nice, which is a nice town in the south of France. The rule is to use the preposition à. And you can say, for example, here, je suis à Nice, je vais à Nice, je vais à Paris, je suis à Paris. There is an exception, but the exception comes from the verb habiter. You know that you can say, to say I live in Paris, for example, or I live in Nice, you say je vis à Nice. But the verb habiter can be transitive or intransitive, and in this case, you can use, and both are correct, j'habite à Nice or j'habite Nice with no preposition. And of course, you can use it with any town. J'habite Londres, j'habite à Londres. J'habite New York, j'habite à New York. Both are correct, but just with the verb habiter. Okay? Well, I hope it's less confused now for you which preposition you have to use with this destination. C'est fini. Thank you very much for watching these slides with me. See you next time. Drop me a line on FrenchSpanishOnline.com. It's free. Au revoir.